Presh Williams here for Big Picture Film Club, and we are at the premiere for Ken Loach's latest film, Sorry We Missed You. Can you tell me a bit about your characters in the film, and how was it like to work with Ken Loach as a director?
Well, Seb is a character who has many issues, if you know what I mean. But he goes out and spray paints to get them issues out there, if you know what I mean, so people know can understand him as a person. And Ken, but not just Ken alone, all the cast and crew were really good to work with, because, as I've said before, they keep you on level, and they don't send you out there or send you inwards. They keep you on a level so you feel comfortable and relaxed, so you can get your best performance out there.
And how was your experience?
It was Ken is such a lovely man, and to it being my first job, he's really gave us a warm welcome into the industry. It's amazing.
And how was it working on set with Ken Loach, and the general experience with the cast and crew?
I've never done this before in my life, so I didn't know what to expect. But
you never?
No, I've never acted before. It's my first role. I answered an advert and went through the process. I've still got my job as a youth worker in the community centre at home.
Awesome.
So I knew about Ken because I'm a fan of his work. I had to read a Kestrel for a neighbour at school. I was a bit naughty at school, so it really resonated with me. We watched the movie, my brothers love him. So it was just wow, I'm going to meet Ken. I always thought all the way along that I was going to be in the background of the movie, but no, I was in the foreground of the movie. And it's just really cool. The film deals with a lot of issues, political ones about the working conditions, but also about teenage kids as well, and how things affect them. And I've worked in education for 20 years, and austerity causes poverty and stress in families, and it really massively affects kids' mental health. And I've seen it for years and years and years, and it's getting worse. And we touch on that a little bit in the film, so I'm hoping it'll cause more discussion, not only about working conditions, but about the effect of work on the family and poverty.
Well, it's a big honour to work with Ken. He's the best at what he does, really. He's a really humble guy as well. So you kind of it's infectious, the way he is. So not only do you learn your craft more when you work with him as an actor, but you learn more about what it means to be a decent human being on a film set, I guess.
On that note, what did you take away from your character on working on the film, and are there any kind of social messages that you could kind of take away from your character's story and be yeah, I understand that, and moving forward I can implement this in my life? Or
well, the funny thing is my story is not too dissimilar from Ricky's, my past before I came back to acting at 40. So yeah, I've been in the situations that Ricky's been in, faced with, we moved out of a rented house, my wife and I, when my son was young, so we've been in those predicaments. So it was as though the film was just the story of my life in a really weird way, in some parts. So, but I would have handled things a lot differently to Ricky. I think I wouldn't have stood for any of the abuse and bullying that he gets from his manager.
Kris, lovely to be you.
Right, you too.
Yourself, Paul Laverty and Ken Loach, I think together really form a very interesting powerhouse, talking about creating social realist, as I would describe it, pieces that look at kind of working class life and its interaction with the state or different forms of power. How important is it to get that message out, and why aren't more films like that?
I think that people do make films like this. I think they find it difficult to get them onto the bigger screen, because I think that, we battle for cinema space with giants, with the big franchises, and there's very little room left because those films sell a lot of popcorn, and there's very little room left for smaller stories about ourselves. we're just not in the habit of watching those sort of stories. So we're really grateful to our distributor for giving us a proper West End premiere and getting it out there, because, I don't know, I think we don't just want popcorn entertainment. We also want to know about us, our own stories, our own lives, and the films that we make try and address that somehow. I think other people do make those films.
And on that point, then, what would you hope that people take away from Sorry We Missed You?
I hope that they see somebody they know in the story, see people that reflect their own lives. And I think also to show that even, that there is actually some hope, because people are noticing that is the way that life is, and that there is something to battle against, actually. So I hope that the film inspires people to chuck out 0 hours contracts and get some better workers' rights.
What is it about the slice of life story that appeals to you?
Well, it's the drama of every day, which is often more intense and more revealing to us on how we live, and what our experience is, and the depths of people's emotions that can be very profound, but it's still everyday life. And I think that's always attracted writers and filmmakers, and across the centuries, actually, not just in films.
This is where it's at. Vindaloo. Got to be hard to take this stuff, do you know what I mean? So. All right then.